Ahoy there, Zephnir here, and this is Why Would You Play This? It's a series where I play games for long enough to understand the appeal of them, even if they're not necessarily games that I would personally play. The rules are simple. I have to write down at least 2 reasons for which someone would enjoy the game. The challenge comes in trying my best to stay positive in the light of playing games that don't necessarily appeal to me. And since I've been teasing you guys like a year ago about my next video being Skyrim, I'll be taking a long, good look at Oblivion. From here on out, I'll be listing reasons to play it, as well as slipping bits of the stream when I played it. Yes, I've streamed it. You can. Hey guys, really goofy, silly thing I did after finishing, filming the video. I went to shave my face. I will have a Google form document, a Google form in the video description in case you want to request some games for this series, the Why Would You Play It series. So yeah, just go in there, type your name and your recommended game, and I'll check it out and I'll tell you guys what I think about why would you want to play that kind of game. Reason number 1, continuity. You've played other Elder Scrolls games and you are simply enthralled by the series. Maybe you don't really like the mechanics that these games throw at you, or their weird and shallow RPG systems. Maybe you played Skyrim or Morrowind and you just want to learn more about the world of Tamriel. Through the stream, there were several points when I mentioned this, as there are a few world-building methods in the world of Oblivion. There is also the opportunity of exploring one of the Tamrielic countries. So if you've only experienced, let's say, Skyrim before, or Morrowind of course, this is a great opportunity to see what Cyrodiil has to offer, because that's the country that's visited in Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. When you finish the tutorial, you're told to follow quest markers and how to fast travel, but you're also told that you may, if you so please, simply go out, explore and adventure randomly. This is rewarded in the tutorial area as well. If you look in the dark corners or try to pick chest locks, you often find loot to sell or otherwise gear you can use. Just in front of the prison exit there's a dungeon, and Elder Scrolls is the game series that popularized dungeon delving. You have the entrance, a few doors to go through and pillage or loot, a few instances, if you may so call them as a fellow RPG gamer. It almost always loops back to the original entrance through an initially hidden exit. I have no idea why I raised my fingers for this, but there you have it. There's just a lot of exploration down here. Exploration and world building, but I'll talk about that in a bit. Reason number 2 is the character creation, and it's just very funny. There isn't much to add to this, so I'll leave you with a couple of clips to convince yourself that cranking the sliders all the way to the side can have severe effects to one's facial integrity.
Should I make him left slider or right slider? Because I'll just put everything in one side. Either way, he's gonna come out looking like an abomination, so the last one, right? He's literally Pepe the Frog. They tested one too many nukes inside this guy's nose. Right, so this is gonna be like half the gameplay. Clicking random will make him look normal. Yeah, reverse mohawk is gonna do him good. This is the final product. This is like half the reason you would want to play this. The character customization has sliders, and that's just funny. You're never gonna see your character's face. You're gonna see his face when you open the inventory, but you're gonna have a helmet like 90% of the game.
Reason number 3 would be the monkey brain. Todd always says you can do whatever the hell you want in his games. You see that mountain, you can climb it. And it's only partly true. I mean, since it's an open world game with lots of dungeons, it's even incentivized that you do whatever the hell you want. The main storyline has its own rewards and quests and important figures and all, but once you're done with that, can you really ask yourself, now what? I wouldn't say so, even if you don't join the factions I mentioned in the next reason, so stay tuned for reason number 3. Sure, by the time you finish the main quest line, if you're anything like me, you're already bored of the game because you do all the side content before starting the first main quest to begin with. There are always quests in the towns with funny little stories, like the group of female bandits in Anvil who steal from predictable married men. And that's only one example of a side quest. I'm not even mentioning the several dungeons you could do just for the looting experience, that sometimes feels like copy-paste and you're just doing combat going from start to finish in them. But sometimes they do have quests tied to them, and that just makes it even more fun. I am repeating myself now, yes, but the whole act of plunging into a dungeon, killing enemies for XP, and then reaping the reward of looking in every dark corner and path off the main course in the dungeon, it's simply something you can keep on doing in this game. And like I said, this gets boring if you do it for too long, or if you play for too long, I guess, but could be fun. And the factions enforce this gameplay loop even further. Reason number 4, that will be the lore. Factions, which I also mentioned during stream and like half a minute earlier, I think. Check yourself, I don't know. In the first part of this video, I mentioned how exploration is rewarded even from the beginning, and how you're basically let loose the moment you're done with the tutorial. There are several factions in Oblivion, however the main ones are the Fighters Guild. Here you take on contracts to help people deal with monster problems, usually, but it has its own questline and drama. Mages Guild, which, again, obviously deals with all kinds of magic. I loved how they dealt with it in this game, making you get a recommendation from each Mages Guild hall before making the main Mages Guild questline accessible, as opposed to Skyrim's singular quest. Thieves Guild, obvious once more, you pickpocket, you steal stuff, you sell stolen stuff to a fence. I joined this as part of the stream, which you can watch live if you follow me on Twitch, of course, and you can also watch like a longer VOD on my secondary channel, Zafnir Live, if you want to check that out. And it made me realize that the world building is really flavorful. What I did to find out how to join the Thieves Guild, without googling it, of course. So I looked at the bounty poster for the Grey Fox, and then I asked some people about the Thieves Guild, like random citizens on the street, and I was told that I have to talk to a beggar and get them to like me, so I may finally attempt joining them. All of this is small hints from randomly accessing the bounty posters. I didn't even know I could actually look at it. It could have just been like decorum for all I knew. And then talking to citizens in the Imperial City, obviously, because you can't like look at the poster and then go to Breville to ask someone about the Grey Fox. That would be kind of weird. Talking to one of them, one of the citizens in the Imperial City, even reveals the way to join the Dark Brotherhood when talking to him about rumors. You know, the Assassin's Guild. You have to murder someone without being seen, and the next time you sleep, you're contracted. As a nosy little gamer, all of this talk to NPCs randomly to find out how to join the illegal factions puzzle could be very fun to discover, you know, as a first-time gamer, I would assume. And, well, if you're not a curious monkey, well, Google's your nightmare, I guess. Reason number 5, the build optimization. I guess. I personally find the RPG elements and skill system in this game very janky and off-putting, but I can see how a few people might enjoy optimizing it and how it would be fun to them. It's a system where the attributes have specific skills tied to them, and when you level up any amount of skill that's governed by a specific attribute 5 times, you can now pick to level up that attribute the highest possible when you next rest to level up. I'm gonna give an example, but this is a little bit confusing, honestly, and like I said, I don't really like the system because it's a bit weird and kind of not necessarily badly explained, but to min-max it, it's awful. Okay, so for example, if you want to level up speed, you will have to level up athletics, light armor, or acrobatics 5 times in any combination of amounts. So you could, for example, level up acrobatics 5 times, a bit impossible, but you could also do 2 levels of athletics, 1 level of light armor, and another 2 levels of acrobatics. That's 1 level up, and since you have 5 levels in skills attributed by speed, it means that when you level up, you can have 5 levels in speed. Okay, I might be slightly wrong even in this explanation, but I personally, again, never liked this system as it feels really strict. You'll obviously want to do combat as well, so you might level up from a strength skill or agility for like marksmanship, for example, or maybe one of the spells. I forgot if that was intelligence or will, and sometimes you just end up skewing the attribute values. But if this is a system that seems interesting to you, you might enjoy actually fiddling with it and like looking up stuff on Wikipedia and on forums online to see how people min-max their builds. Reason number 6 would be the type of freedom that Elder Scrolls games provide specifically, because there's different types of freedoms in other kinds of open world and sandbox games, I guess. You aren't exactly free to choose the fate of people in quests in this game. The freedom that you get in Elder Scrolls is a much simpler one. You don't choose which of your friends die and take long-lasting decisions in the story. You simply choose when or if you want to do what pieces of content. This doesn't exactly inspire as much immersion as other games where you have timed quests and they fail unless you do the objectives on time, like Dragon's Dogma 2, which came out recently. Or even Obsidian's New Vegas, for example, where you can pretty much kill everyone all major factions leaders, and they stay dead, not just unconscious, thanks Todd. However, what this system lacks in immersion, it makes up for it in convenience. You can pick up all quests, and the quest markers will stay there until you complete them. If there's any exceptions, please note it down in the comments. My memory with the knowledge of all quests in this game is a little bit rusty. But basically, you're allowed to go wherever, do whatever, come back to like complete whatever the hell you took a while back. And that just means that you're never lost, unless you're, lost from the UI in the journal, I guess. But personally, didn't really find that an issue because you also have a quest marker. Alas, I digress. These would be the 6 main reasons, with several little reasons added in between them, to explain to you why exactly one would enjoy playing a game such as the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. There are also a few negatives in here. Like I said, the skill system, for example, is not exactly the best thing. And as I said, I personally don't like it that much. You might get bored of the gameplay loop because the combat's, it's outdated. We can accept that. If you can accept that, and if you can accept the weird RPG system, and if you enjoy the amount of immersion that this kind of game has to give, and the amount of world building, and if maybe you're interested in the lore, or you just like dungeon delving as you do in any other Elder Scrolls game, or if you want to fuck around with the character creation, this might be one of the games that you might want to consider playing sometime next in the future, maybe when it goes on sale or something. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Maybe follow my Instagram or my YouTube live channel, which I mentioned in this video as well. And I'll see you when I'll see you guys. Hope you have a calm sea, as always.